just realized I have been talking to the camera for 30 minutes without ever pressing the play button. Yes, I did. Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. I thought I would do a different kind of video this time because I realized I really haven't sit down and talked to you. The last time, well, the only time I've ever done this was way back in July 2021, I think. And it's been a long time and a lot of things have changed. But I actually wanted to talk about eating today because something I haven't really talked about in my vlogs and I haven't mentioned before is the fact that I actually have struggled here in Tenerife and while traveling with my eating, which is something that was very unexpected. But I want to dedicate a whole video on it and to open up about it because I feel like my experience could maybe help someone else out, and I want you guys to be in the loop and feel like you know me. But before we jump into the video, I would really appreciate if you would give this a big thumbs up, subscribe, and also turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Jumping into the video. So in the past, I've had a lot of different experiences with eating, but mostly I've always struggled with binge eating or overeating. I've never really been on the other side of the spectrum where I've struggled with eating in general, as in not getting in enough food, but it is something that I really struggled with while traveling, which I didn't realize in the beginning, but then it was a really hard wake-up call when I had really severe health issues, aka I was almost passing out on the streets, getting reflux after trying to eat absolutely anything and not getting any food down for basically 4 days and really being scared for my health. But let's go back to the beginning to where it all started. I've been here for a month now, so it's like a pretty long time to find a new routine, which I haven't because, you know, life, and I keep moving around and it's harder than I thought. But when I actually arrived here, I either had food poisoning or I was just like under a lot of stress with traveling and everything. I ended up vomiting all my insides out basically on the plane, on the bus, in the bus station, just anywhere, okay? And I didn't eat for like 11 hours and I couldn't sleep the whole day and it was insane, right? Tried to eat the same night but couldn't. Everything came out and it was very intense, but I was like, okay, you know, I'm just sick, whatever. Next couple of days it was really hard for me to get any food down because my stomach was so sensitive to anything and everything. So I basically ate only bread and banana for every meal because I couldn't really get anything down. After that, I stayed with my friends and that's where I was finally able to eat again. But that's when my portion sizes started to get really small without me actually giving much thought into it. I was kind of taking advantage of the fact that I didn't have a very big appetite because of the food poisoning and I just wasn't eating enough. I only ate maybe like twice a day and my portion sizes weren't as big as they were back home in Estonia. And because I still kept my body moving, I was active most of the day, walking around, running, doing workouts, all that stuff. It was definitely not a lot of calories. I've done a lot of research about food science, eating disorders, everything like that, and to me it's very crazy that even though I know so much about it, something so alarming still started digressing without me noticing. But I think it also came from the fact that my whole life I've been told like, you eat too much for a girl, you shouldn't eat so much, you're gonna get fat, all these things. And for once I was like, wow, maybe I was eating too much, like maybe I don't need to eat that much. And I was taking advantage of that and I was like, okay, I can, you know, survive on 2 meals a day, which is great. Saving money on food, I can use that for traveling. I don't need that much food, right? And then I can simplify the food I eat. Something quick and easy. Now, looking back at what I was eating, or how little I was eating, I can see where the problem started and how intense things got so quickly. Because when you're active, you burn a lot of calories, right? But if you're not fueling your body the correct way, and especially in a way your body is used to, you run out of energy eventually. So I was moving around every 7 days or so, switching places, going from one part of the island to the other, and I was always focusing on, you know, exploring, and I would be out and about most of the day and only eat usually breakfast and dinner. So most of the day I didn't eat really anything, and then my breakfast and dinner usually were quite small, really quick, didn't have a lot of protein or fats in it, just because it's, for me, a bit harder to find plant-based protein here in Tenerife. Not impossible, definitely. If you are staying in one place, it's easier. You can buy some staple ingredients, you learn in what store you can get what, but still being quite new here, didn't really put that much thought into it. I was like, no, like, that's okay, I'll just eat less protein right now. And now when I look back at the videos and the footage of food I was eating, I can see like, oh my gosh, that is like one meal is only a couple hundred of calories, and eating so little the whole day. Just by living, I burn all of that. And to add running or exercise or anything on top of that, oh my gosh, I am eating so little. In that moment, I didn't even realize that. I was just, when you're in a new situation, there's so much to see, there's so much to enjoy, you don't really realize that. I wasn't going out to eat, I wanted to save money, everything like that. And then this one day, I actually had both breakfast and lunch, but because I had a very early lunch or at around 2, I was doing some online courses, and then I walked around the city, and then I went to work out, did a pretty intense hour-long leg workout, and then I met some people, I was socializing, we were walking around the city, all of that, and then it was 9 p.m. and I started to feel really lightheaded, and I would get these dizzy spells, and I was sitting down and I could feel like starting to get a bit sick, right? Like, I'm afraid to stand up because I'm not sure I will be able to stand by myself, right? I was starting to have conversations in my head like, why am I feeling like this? And then I realized like, oh, I haven't eaten anything in 7 hours, but because I just worked out, I need food. And that's when things got really bad. So I managed to find a supermarket, but because I hadn't eaten in so long, I totally lost my appetite, which again is not something I'm that used to, because before this, I hadn't experienced anything like that where I didn't want any food. You could name any food in the menu of any restaurant and I would still be like, no, I don't want that. What? That's so unlike me. I would be eating everything, basically. Not everything, but a big variety of food, definitely. And I ended up having a banana in a nut bar, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to get through, eating one banana. Bananas are my favorite fruit, and I couldn't get the banana down. I would get like reflux as I was eating. It was so bad. The whole day I hadn't really drank enough water as well, which obviously didn't help the case. And then when I got home that evening, I knew like I probably should eat, but I was like, oh, it's so late, whatever, I'll just eat in the morning. I couldn't sleep all night because I was in so much pain. And when I woke up in the morning, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go make my breakfast, have some yogurt, some berries, banana, all that. I took 2 bites out of it and I got major reflux, and I just could not get any more food down. So I didn't eat for most of the day. Spent in bed, I was so tired, couldn't focus, literally watched Netflix. I was so sad because I couldn't do anything, and it was so unlike me. Then I went out the same night, and then my friend tried to get me to eat. I was able to get in half a banana with major reflux, and then I tried to eat a salad later that night without any dressing, plain vegetables basically, and it was a struggle, but I managed to get in something, even though I know it's very little calories, but still better than nothing. And then the next morning it was even worse than it was before. It was the 3rd day. I was struggling to get out of bed to go brush my teeth. I started to get really worried. In my head, I was like, if I don't get any food down, I don't know what's gonna happen. I genuinely was worried. I was like, okay, I need to get in some protein, I need to get some food, fried some tofu. I tried to make these mini tortillas with some salad, olives. They were tiny, and I had 3. I managed to eat one of them. Swallowing food, chewing on food, felt so unnatural. The taste of food, everything was like, ugh. Like, why do I have to do this? I told myself, okay, I'm gonna watch some Netflix. And while I'm gonna watch Netflix, I'm gonna eat the rest of the tortillas. Never eat the rest of those tortillas. I only ate one. And then I didn't eat for the whole day until the night I went out again, and my friends were like, you need to eat. I know that. But I was like constantly on the verge of passing out. I was like an actual zombie. When I say I went out to socialize, I was literally like half asleep because I couldn't focus, I couldn't be on my phone, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't keep up with a conversation because I was so tired from not having any energy. And my friend was like, this is insane. You need to get in some calories. So we went to a mini market because it was Sunday and everything was closed. And I was like, okay, calories, right. I got this soft drink because sugar, maybe some energy. I got this packet of smoothie. Then I got nuts and seeds mix. The nuts, the soda, complete struggle, but the smoothie was the first thing I was able to have without reflux. It was a small milestone. I was very happy about that, and that was basically what I had for the whole day. The next morning, I actually had a pretty decent sleep for the first time, but in the morning I couldn't eat again, and then I had to change places. But because I was surrounded by other people and they were having this like family lunch, I felt very welcomed, and it almost felt rude not to eat. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to eat. I had some spinach lasagna for lunch, and then later on I had the same lasagna for dinner as well. And it was the first time I was able to eat a proper meal in 3, almost 4 days. I could almost cry because before in my head I was like, if I don't get any food down, I might have to get hospitalized. I don't want to be dramatic, but what else is there to do, right? Like, if I can't get any food down, somebody just has to inject me with food because this is insane, right? But luckily, that was the start of me getting better day by day, one bite at a time, I should say. And I am happy to say I feel a lot better now. But it was a slow process from that because the next morning I could only have like toast with jam. But I felt so happy that I could get food down without any reflux. And then later on that night, because I moved again, didn't have access to a lot of food, I just snacked. And the fact that I was able to get in even like quote unquote junk food, unhealthy snacks and majorly processed food, it wasn't anything that worried me because I was like, oh my god, I'm finally eating something and I know it has calories, and that's a good thing because now I have a lot more energy. Crazy. My whole life I've heard people say, I just don't want any food. I can't get any food down. I'm like, are you insane? I don't know how to stop. I love food so much. I don't know how to stop. And now I've been on the end of the spectrum where everyone is saying to me, you need to eat. I'm like, I know that. I understand that. Just tell me how. I will do anything to feel better. Now that my sister and brother also came to Tenerife, my eating has improved a lot because we've gone out to eat. I've had like pizza and pasta and like very wholesome meals that we made at home and everything. And I feel like I can eat again without the stress of, oh my gosh, if I don't get this down, I don't know what's gonna happen. So I feel very, very grateful that my sister and brother came at the time they did, because I know it has helped me a lot, and I definitely need to be very cautious with everyday routine and prioritizing to eat. I literally have a timer on my phone that says lunch because that is the meal I keep forgetting, because previous month, especially the first 3 weeks, I was basically eating only twice a day with very little calories. And I know food science, I know macros and micronutrients and everything, and I still got to a point where I almost collapsed on the street because I didn't eat enough. So the moral of the story, your health should be your first priority, and whatever it is, work, travel, that's making you put your focus on something else, you need to sit down with yourself and ask, like, how are you doing? How's your health? Everything, because that should be your main priority. And if it isn't, you need to change something, because if you're not 100%, then how can you go about your day? How can you socialize with other people? How can you show up as your best version if you're not 100%? So it was a very scary couple of days. But again, it's an experience, it's a learning curve. I am very grateful that I had the support of the people around me who, noticed that I wasn't good and, pushed me to eat, and that it wasn't neglected, because that's worst when you're struggling and people don't even realize that. And luckily I was vocal about that with my friends and family and everything. Like, I told them I'm struggling, I'm having issues. But if you are struggling and you're not talking about it, please find someone you feel safe to talk about it. Make sure that you're not alone in this. Make sure that somebody knows that you're not okay. Because if I were in a different country by myself in a very bad situation where I feel like I'm gonna collapse in the middle of the night on a random street and nobody knew that I wasn't okay and nobody knew that I had eating issues or anything, I would be in a very, very scary situation. So I'm very glad for my friends and my family, and the fact that I was brave enough to talk about it. So yeah, hope that this can help you if you are struggling with food or with stress or anxiety or depression or whatever it is. Please, 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 please talk to someone about it. Don't be alone in it. You don't have to be alone in it, and you're not alone in it, because we all go through things like this, and there are always more people that are struggling with something that you are. So that's it for today. I'm sorry, not that much of a bubbly chat, but hey, I just want to connect with you. I just want to keep you in the loop, and I want to make sure that you're doing okay and I'm doing okay. So I really, really appreciate it if you made it this far in the video. This means so much to me, you can't even believe it. And also, again, if you did enjoy watching this video, then please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and also turn on that little notification bell so you never miss a video with me. Bye!